I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast gems.
The Stone Zone on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Wow, that is what you call an introduction. My name is Ken Matthews. I'm in for Roger Stone tonight, and we are in the Stone Zone. Let me give you the number right now because there's so much to talk about if you'd like to join the conversation. I want to thank Roger and the team for making this possible tonight. What a week it's been. The number, if you don't already know it, is 800-848-9222. This is the Stone Zone, and so much is going on. We've got, let's talk about one of the big stories. There's a couple big stories I want to talk about. One is this whole AutoPen scandal that nobody's talking about because Trump has been busy making it clear that no one's going to mess with the strongest military in the world. I think they got the message. I think they got it. And it's amazing to me, so often we hear about, you hear the Democrats, you hear the left saying, you know, we're the adults in the room. And when you think about it and you look at President Donald Trump historically, he is the adult in the room. Now, hear me out for people who just drove off the road, if there's even room in the traffic to do that. He really is the adult in the room. He's a goofball. He likes to mess with you. He's a smart aleck. But when President Donald Trump needs to focus like a laser and be a real commander-in-chief and say, hey, guys, I think the poop is about to hit the fan. Here's how we're going to execute. Don't tell Joy Behar. He gets it done. So no matter whatever you want to say about Barack Obama, that guy couldn't beat his way out of a wet paper bag. He could not. He could not. It was all blather and bluster. And Donald Trump says, here's what we're going to do. And he does it. And when he said, give me a couple weeks to think this through, and then he blew up nuclear plants without hurting civilians, without bombing hospitals or aspirin factories or schools, and without injuring one American soldier, that was pretty impressive. So that obviously is the lead story, and it kind of has overshadowed some of the other stuff that's going on. Like, first of all, congratulations. I didn't support you, but congratulations to who may be the first socialist, communist, Democrat, Muslim, millennial mayor. And people I hear, they're talking about it in mainstream media. They're so excited about, oh, we've got a millennial. It's going to be great. And, now let me point this out. For you people that have children, you know that the human brain does not develop. For a woman, it's what, around 25-ish, maybe 24-ish. For a guy, what is it, about 60? I'm just kidding. No, it's like for a woman, it's 25-ish. For a guy, it's a little bit further down the road, like 26-ish. And it's been as early as 23 for women. So let's say women's brains develop fully at 23. Men, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. The Muslim kid, 25. So his brain has only been fully developed. He's 33. His brain's only been fully developed for 8 years. And this is the interesting thing about New York. And if I just want to roll this soundbite because this is someone that was on the subway earlier this week, and so was I. I'll tell you about that in a minute. It was so fun. One of the places I like to hang out, especially on hot days where I can loiter legally because I don't own anything in New York City, is I like to hang out at the Port Authority bus terminal. But here is just a reflection of how things are now in New York City and how they'll be getting soon.
I don't even know what to say at this point. I had to get off the train, past my stop, because there was a guy who was following me from car to car. And when I tried to get off at my stop, which was pitch dark, he held it open to see if I was going to get off.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I just ask you, what was it? Was it Cuomo? Was it Anthony Weiner? Can you identify the individual that was? I'm sorry, that was so uncalled for. We all know it was probably Biden. But anyway, go ahead, ma'am.
So I had to get off the stop after, and then when I got off the stop after, I hopped on the next train that was going the other direction.
Yes.
And I got on an express train, and now I'm back on the other side of the tracks. Hold on. New York City is not safe. It's not safe for women.
No, it is not.
Okay? I am so sick and tired of having to look over my shoulder 24/7, not just at night, during the day, at all hours. I'm sick and tired of it.
Ma'am, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm 6'1". I'm very out of shape. I sweat a lot, and I am also sick and tired of looking over my shoulder. But the funniest thing is 40, and I'm not making light of it, because if you do get a socialist, Muslim, millennial mayor, if you think it's been a bumpy year last year, you guys are in for a true poop show. But think about this. 44% voted for that guy in the primary. 44% of New Yorkers said, we've been kind of evaluating what's been taking place in one of the greatest cities on earth, New York City, over the last several months and years. What do you think if we bring someone in who's been out of college for less than 10 years, who is a Muslim and a socialist? And let's remember, socialism and communism are the same thing. Yeah, socialism is communism without the guns and without the big flags and the armored personnel carriers in your neighborhood yet. So just something to think about. But it's going to be a very exciting race. I can't even believe that Cuomo showed his face in that race. I can't even. The arrogance of former Governor Cuomo even showing up in New York City after the death count of the COVID vaccine. That guy's got, I'm telling you, it's mind-boggling, is it not? I can't believe he's not in jail yet. And one of the best misdirections, one of the best cover stories for Cuomo to get people accepting him, especially Democrats, was saying, well, there's a lot of allegations out there about, sexual touchy, kissy in the office. And, might be a little philanderer there. And the Democrats are okay with that. I mean, just look at Hillary. So they don't have a problem with that. So Democrats know if there's anything like, well, the same with Hillary or Bill or any number of Democrat candidates. It could be like, well, there's rumors of so-and-so is transporting plutonium and giving secrets to the Chinese. We need a cover story. The Democrats are going to love this. Say that he's chasing skirt until he's a blithering drunk. Oh, we can relate to that. Okay. You got our vote. You see, I just couldn't believe it. I thought he'd be in jail for the COVID thing. I thought he'd be in jail for the other stuff. I thought his reputation would be destroyed. And there was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton came by too. Bill Clinton probably ruined your chances, Governor. Can Bill Clinton even function at this point? Poor guy. And whatever happened to Joe Biden, we're going to talk about that a little bit more, because the auto pen thing has not gotten enough coverage. And that's a big deal. And it's been live coverage. Well, not live coverage. C-SPAN's been covering it. And I have to say, to their credit, I think, let me just check here. I think it was one of the major news networks. They're all Mockingbird puppet heads, but it was one. And that was it. Nobody else covered it, because nobody else wants to talk about admitting, like Jake Tapper did in his book. And he came late to the party, too. He came late to the party. Everybody thinks Jake Tapper, a truth teller, a whistleblower. Jake Tapper knew, just like everybody else, that Joe Biden was a blithering idiot, couldn't find his way to the bathroom, or he'd get lost in the bushes outside his house. They had to send a team for him. It was sad. He almost fell off the stage. He falls upstairs. And Jake Tapper decided, when it started to leak out, see, once President Trump was reelected, for the third time. It started to leak out, and Jake was on the scene with the book. I read the book. I got to admit, I don't like Jake Tapper, but I like the book. It was nice to see somebody put the truth down about Joe Biden. The downside of that is this. It's just like with other Democrats. They tell you the story. Everybody's looking over there. So what's the big deal? Cuomo and Bill Clinton, they like the ladies. What's the big deal? And then they get to walk, and no one wants to indict them for the real crimes they did, right? Not saying that some of those crimes didn't involve women, but you know what I mean. It's the same thing with Joe Biden. Between cancer and, hey, we just found out that Biden's brain, it wasn't working, and there was an auto pen and AI, and I think even one of his dogs was voting on things, and we all go, aw, and we forget that the guy has been a grifter for 50 years. Joe Biden has been a lying, manipulating grifter. This is a man who's lied about his experience. He's lied about his family. He lied about his late wife's car accident. And not to mention Ukraine, Russia, and whatever happened to Hunter. Not to beat a bunch of dead careers, but please, how do people skate like this? I can tell people now, as a MAGA voter and still a consistent supporter of President Donald J. Trump, you guys better start delivering some real justice. I need to see people like that in cuffs. I need to see a Cuomo getting arrested. I need to see Hunter in prison. I don't want to see John Brennan writing another book. He's another piece of garbage. And General Milley, every day I was thanking God over the last several days. Well, I always thank God, actually. Over the last several days, all I said was, thank God General Milley is not in charge of this nuke long-range bombing thing, because he would have told people the same way he told the Chinese about what people were thinking about. People forget about this. They forget. What about James Comey? Prison. He should be in it. John Brennan, prison. What about Strzok and Page? Prison. It's just very frustrating. That was one of the biggest reasons I voted for President Trump. It was the border. And, well, the first time I voted for him, do you remember this? When he said he was going to put Hillary in jail? That was one of the best reasons ever to vote for the president. And someone must have called him up and talked him out of it. But we need to get a grip on following up. If President Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and the rest of the new assembled team, and they're doing good work. I mean, compared to the last 50 years, these people are killing it. And I'm just not talking about nuke bases. They're doing a great job. But we need to show America, and we need to show the world that you can't break the law in this country, even if you're powerful. What do you think? 800-848-9222. We're in the Stone Zone tonight, and it is my pleasure and honor to be sitting in for Roger Stone. We'll be right back.
The Stone Zone on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at Friskies.com or visit your local store.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks. Smooth, bright, deliciously crafted. Introducing Starbucks Sansera Blend, their smoothest, brightest coffee yet. It's a new kind of light roast, one that's packed with so much flavor, it shines no matter how you brew it. So go ahead and try it hot, iced, black, or with a splash of creamer. Visit athome.starbucks.com/Sansera-blend-coffee to bring Starbucks Sansera Blend home.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Learning through play starts with Lego Duplo. With Lego Duplo, toddlers can develop real-life skills while having fun with colorful bricks made just for them. Large, easy to grip, and safe to explore. When children express themselves with Lego Duplo, they build patience, problem-solving, and empathy. See your child learn perseverance and self-expression with everything they imagine and create. Visit lego.com/preschool to learn more.
The Stone Zone on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All you have to do is say to President Trump, if you can just ramble for a minute, we can use it all. We can use it all. Roger Stone, he's no baby. That's great stuff. My name's Ken Matthews. By the way, you can find me on Twitter and other social media platforms if you want to troll me or if you want to threaten my life. Please call and leave your number. Thank you very much for that. I am on Twitter. It's at Ken Matthews, Matthews with 2 T's. I love history, as many people in this audience do, because Roger Stone has lived through incredible history, and he's taken part of it and taken part in it. And I would go as far as to say that Mr. Stone has changed history, having read some of his books, and I follow him fairly regularly for years, even before I could even imagine guest hosting on 77 WABC. Anyway, back in 1947, that setup was way too long, but I'm coming back to the point of this bombing that took place that was so surgical, and I have to admit it has been a while since I looked toward Washington and felt this proud, because it was very difficult to feel proud when Joe Biden was feeling children. Did that come out? It probably didn't come out right. Never mind. Let's move on. 1947, General Mills Kix cereal brand. Some of you remember that. They offered an atomic bomb ring. Yes, for only 15 cents. And you turned into, with the cereal box top. And it was also known as the Lone Ranger atomic bomb ring. It was a reflection of, at the time, the public's preoccupation with atomic energy, the power, the potential of it. Remember, everything was rockets, and then, gosh, once you got into the 50s and the 60s, it was Rocket Palooza, remember? The ring had an adjustable gold-colored band with lightning blast explosions on the sides, and it basically had a missile on the top of the ring. Could you imagine when school starts? It's only 2 months away now, by the way. It's going to be great to get those kids back into indoctrination again. But can you imagine having a ring at school? It looks like a bullet. An aluminum warhead mounted on top and contained a removable red plastic tail fin. So it was a guided missile, and the tail fin was hollow, so you had a hidden compartment for tiny secret messages. I mean, this is the perfect gift if you want to frighten a teacher or commit espionage. Removing the red base gave access to a little, this is the quote on the box, a hidden atomic chamber in the warhead. Wow. I'm telling you know what? Maybe we should just start giving those out, just to remind people that President Donald J. Trump is serious, and he loves the military, and he loves America. And he's probably one of the first presidents in, 30 or 40 years that said, here's what I'm going to do. And then he did it. We'll be back in the Stone Zone on 77 WABC.
The Stone Zone on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Choice Hotels get you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. Like with the road trippers we see here in their natural habitat, the breakfast area at a Comfort Inn. Here's a dad teaching his son how to make waffles. Fluffy, golden waffles. There's a mom making sure her daughter eats some fruit to avoid the "I'm hungry" from the back seat. And a sibling standoff over the last muffin. This is the cycle of vacation maximizationing in all its glory. Check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
At Blinds.com, it's not just about window treatments. It's about you, your style, your space, your way. Whether you DIY or want the pros to handle it all, you'll have the confidence of knowing it's done right. From free expert design help to our 100% satisfaction guarantee, everything we do is made to fit your life and your windows. Because at Blinds.com, the only thing we treat better than windows is you. Visit Blinds.com now for up to 50% off with minimum purchase plus a professional measure at no cost. Rules and restrictions apply.
The Stone Zone on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Thank you so much to Roger's wonderful audience tonight. I'm having fun. We're going to get some phone calls here. My name is Ken Matthews, and we are thrilled to be guest hosting on the Red Apple Network in the Stone Zone. The number's 800-848-9222. Let's go to Andrew. Andrew, how are you? How are things in New Jersey?
I'm doing well, and wanted to say the woman that was complaining about the city not being safe for women, most of them voted for the leftist Democrats. So for them to then complain when you have just nominated someone that wanted to defund the police, and also if a lot of the men happen to be of Middle Eastern Muslim, you can't point that out. So I just thought it was ironic that's what they voted for. And I just want to ask you, with the reports that the bombs didn't damage the nuclear facilities for years, coming from the fake news, it's hard to believe. Your thoughts on it. But I just want to say quick examples of fake news. There was Trump had said there was burgers stacked a mile high when he had the college championship football team. And the news literally did a story saying Trump lied. You would need 1.3 million burgers. Like, obviously it was an express. But when they lie about that, they have no credibility. But your
That's a great point
on that.
That's a great point. Thank you for calling, Andrew. One of the most difficult things throughout this, not that it was difficult for me because I've never been in the military, I've never been in combat, I've never had that honor or served. That's another reason I get a kick out of a lot of people in the news media that talk about things that they haven't experienced firsthand. And I think that's the first signal. If you haven't been immersed in it firsthand, for example, I've never been to Iran or the Middle East. I've never been in combat. I've never had to make life decisions like that. The first thing I need to do, I'm obligated to do it as a communicator and a broadcaster. That's to research it. I've done a lot of research over the years on a lot of different things. And one thing that is consistent, and this echoes what Andrew said, is the lack of credibility of most media now is almost laughable. These are the same networks that said, well, it looks like he didn't even make a ding in the nuclear power plant. They're the same network that said, well, the vaccine is safe and effective. Or Joe Biden got 80,000 votes. I don't think Joe Biden could count to the number 80, let alone got, what was it, 80 million. I'm sorry, 80 million. Yeah, that was another fake number. So unfortunately, I headed into this entire scenario like millions and millions of Americans and people around the world, and I was watching it and listening to it, and I had all my different screens on in the studios. It looked like Mission Control, and I was just punching around, and I was thinking, are they lying or are they lying? Is he lying? Is she lying? Is that person lying? Or, you know, you've got these people that they're rooting for Trump to fail, which is a constant state of the news media. They love it. They love it. If Trump could fail, if he could embarrass himself or say something silly, first of all, I love it when they poke fun at Trump because it bounces right off of him and he comes back with a better name. Like when he called Anderson Cooper, Allison Cooper, or ABC's John Carl, Johnny Carl. I love that stuff. And it's amazing when Trump needs a thick skin. That's when I think, and I mentioned this at the top of the show, that's when I think he's an adult in the room. I think he likes to laugh. I think he likes to have fun. He's a smart aleck. And one thing I think you cannot take away from President Trump, and I hope I somewhat answered your question, Andrew, and that was basically the majority of the news is fake. The majority of news is scripted. And having been in it for many, many, many years in media, I've seen firsthand that one script will start at the top of the day at a central location, maybe the Pentagon briefing room, or maybe a presidential spokesperson or Department of Defense secretary, and it will just get repeated and recycled forever, depending on what your views are. There's very few people left in the news media that will actually question anything, because that means they have to stay late and do more research. So I was trying to do the best research I can with the limited resources I have. I don't have a lot. I was unable to pick up the phone and call Afghanistan or Iran or anywhere and say, hey, can you help me out here? But I did get the impression that we did enough damage to set them back for quite some time. And I do believe that from people like Pete Hegseth. I do believe Marco Rubio. And I do believe Trump. When the rubber needs to hit the road, I do believe he's still the right guy for the job. Now, I don't always agree with him. And I have a podcast I do. And sometimes if I criticize Trump too hard, people will, they'll come at you. Because I'm a MAGA person, too. But some of the MAGA people are, woo! And I totally get it. Because Joe Biden, people like Joe Biden and Barack Obama were so rude. I mean, there's so many levels of things they did, but they were just genuinely rude to people that didn't buy into their stories. And I always had a problem with that. That's one of the big problems with liberals. The whole condescending kind of, you what? You're not, wait a minute, you're not going to take the vaccine? Sharon, he's not going to take the vaccine. I mean, get over yourself. Liberals have a hard time with not being sheeple. And when they see people questioning them or other people, they tend to be rude. Why not just ask a question instead of saying, why aren't you taking the vaccine? Or why did you vote for Trump? No, there's a quick reaction. So one thing that's refreshing now, and I think we're seeing this trend at least the first 6 months, and we saw it under President Trump. You can say whatever you want. He's got the gold toilet seats and he has a plane and he's a billionaire. He's still the most relatable president I've ever met. Really. I mean, he's engaged. He is dialed in. Gosh knows you've heard him enough on this show and other shows, right? So I really, for the first time in a long time, relied completely on sources that I felt were involved. I know some of the military divisions and some of the military aspects that were involved in this, and it was so flawlessly executed that I think the news media didn't even know how to handle it. I think the news media is they're used to, General Milley calling up and telling them what to say, or, they're used to James Comey calling up and trashing President Trump. I don't think the media is used to rolling up their sleeves and investigating. I don't think the media has completely told us the truth, which we really need as a population now more than ever in years and years and years. I mean, the last time I was excited about a journalist showing up somewhere, it was Mike Wallace. Think back to 60 Minutes. We're not talking about Chris Wallace now, okay? That's all. I'm talking about Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace was one of those people back in the day, like Ted Koppel. They were back in the day. When they called, people were concerned. What do you mean? Who's in the lobby? Who'd you say? Mike Wallace from 60 Minutes. Oh, no! Not anymore. Now you can send all of CBS over someplace, and people are like, who cares? Buy him a sandwich. Tell him you'll take him to the picnic. They'll tell you whatever story they need. So that's the only thing that frustrates me is if we really need solid coverage, and it's the same thing with the global war on terror. We got a mixed bag of coverage. When we needed information timely, we didn't get it. We're always getting information when it's leaked. I don't know about you, but I'm a little frustrated. I'm still waiting on JFK's, the rest of the details from that assassination. And I know Roger is an expert on that. But I mean, come on, how long is it going to go on? So you have to wonder. It's the same way we're wondering about how long is it going to take the January 6th truth to come out, and how long is it going to take this. That's why I mentioned this AutoPen thing. There was a woman that she testified today. I think she's the director of domestic policy, or on some policy council. Okay, her name's Neera Tanden. Hours and hours and 5 hours she testified. And I saw it on one major network. Now, I know Fox and Newsmax had it. But the rest of the characters from New York or Washington, D.C. or around the country, they couldn't care less. And she basically said that there is this tool that she and others could use to sign memos, documents, and pardons on behalf of the president, and it was legit. That should scare the heck out of you. That explains a lot. We would see Joe Biden in Rehoboth. He'd be, kind of running around with his pants half down or his shirt off or whatever he did, or his mask on, and we would wonder, when does he work? And then we realized 2-3 days later, you'd hear a press conference and they'd say, President Biden has signed more bills and memos and pardons than anybody else. Not really. It was basically another form of AI. It was the AutoPen. That is one of the biggest scandals, I think. I think the AutoPen is on par with Watergate. What do you guys think? I think they're pretty darn close. When you look at the Watergate scandal and the way they crucified Nixon, and the way that Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and many others have walked away from everything, from destroying evidence to bombing the wrong thing to embezzling money. And then you look at this AutoPen thing, it just drives home the point that millions of us, through our own observation, we knew something was not right with Joe Biden. And now it's proven. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew that, he would be sick, and that Americans have such a capacity for empathy and compassion and pity. And we really do. We really do. That's why this country gives more to charity than any other country. The churches in this country give more to this country than any other country. And there's a reason for that, because there's something unique about the American dynamic and the American belief and ideology that, let's just, I mean, do we really need to go after Biden now? I mean, look at, he's an old drooling man. He's got cancer. He can't even remember where he is. Do we really, I mean, do we have to go after his family? You know, in other countries, they'll hack your hand off if you steal something, which is way over the top. I'm not promoting that. I'm just saying in this country, you're going to, if you are a small business person and you screwed up a $400 receipt, you are going to see more time than Hunter Biden for anything he did. And that should concern you. And let me just wrap up quickly with AI. I'm not a big fan of AI, artificial intelligence. And a study just came out, and the timing is perfect for this study because now the AutoPen stuff is coming out. And some of the AI capabilities that our government uses is now being exposed, are being exposed. Did you know that the leading AI models from some of the following companies, OpenAI, Google, Meta, xAI, and other developers, the leading AI models, and I know it's very I can barely understand this either, but basically it's a brain that does the thinking for you or like you, right? In AI Labs said they tested 16 major AI models, and every single model turned to unethical means when their goals or existence were under threat. So they said the leading models would normally refuse harmful requests. They sometimes chose to blackmail users, assist with corporate espionage. Some AI models even took extreme actions. If their goals could not be met, the AI got angry. So we're there. We're trapped between Huxley's Brave New World and 1984. We're there already. But I just had to share that with you. Can you imagine? Oh, look, the AI's just like Uncle Tim. He's going to hurt you. That's just creepy, actually. This is the Stone Zone on the Red Apple Network. I'm Ken Matthews as your guest host tonight, and we'll be right back.
The Stone Zone on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Stone Zone on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Woo! Yeah, he's clean. And I will say, not only is he clean, he's a sharp dresser, Roger Stone. My name's Ken Matthews, guest hosting in the Stone Zone on the Red Apple Network tonight. Very excited as we wrap up. Time flies when you almost lost your country. Hopefully it's coming back. The numbers are getting all out of whack, and I think that's really confusing the news and you know, the news media and academia. And I want to go back to the military for a minute and my love and respect for the military, because although I wasn't in it, many members of my family have been in it over the years and been in different campaigns and theaters of operation around the world. But I get such, especially now that I'm dealing with, I'm going to do a Social Security feature here in a second. And I was reading it and I was thinking, you know, I couldn't care less about this when I was 30, but now that I'm in my 60s, are you kidding me? But now that I'm twice, maybe 3 times the age, maybe you feel this when you see a young police officer or a young military officer, a young man or woman doing a great job, and it's just, it makes you feel proud. And I was looking at the recruitment numbers, and for the first time, the United States military's recruitment is up across the board, and they've already started filling their slots from a year ago. They've had to say, oh, we're all filled up. You're going to have to wait a few months. When a year ago, under, Corn Pop, that's his name, Corn Pompidou. Joe Biden, remember, people were fleeing out of the military after he kicked a bunch out over the scamdemic. And the same with law enforcement. Law enforcement numbers are starting to improve as more MAGA people get in positions of leadership. But it gets down to leadership. And President Trump proves that there are tens of millions of people that will follow his decision-making, and his guidance in the U.S. military is one of those. So you've got those numbers are up. And then this is a really cool number we found. The U.S. could lose more immigrants than it gains for the first time in 50 years. Did you think 2 years ago you'd be hearing that? 2 years ago when 2,700 illegal foreign nationals a week were rolling into our country, and then they were being bussed around the country with free phones and free accommodations right here, in New York and Chicago and Milwaukee, Atlanta, Raleigh, North Carolina. And there's a small town north of Massachusetts. I have a neighbor up there, and he said there's still illegal foreign nationals that are living in a hotel waiting to be deported. So a lot of numbers have changed, and that's another mark of good leadership. And I'll wrap up with this, not to put you in too great of a mood, but the trust fund, Social Security, of course, like it's a trust fund. I'm sorry. They rely on, different securities and funds and the way it's structured. Well, now the trust fund Social Security may be depleted in 2033. That's right. I said 2033. So that's, yes, it's 2033. It's the same age, the same number, 33, as the potential Muslim communist millennial mayor could be in New York. 77% of those benefits will be payable, according to the report. The report just came out and said by 2034, according to the report, there may not be enough revenue for everybody that needs Social Security. So what I would do tomorrow, call your representative and say, what's happening? Or don't call Al Gore, because he's in a lockbox right now. I'm Ken Matthews. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to The Stone Zone with Roger Stone. You can hear The Stone Zone with Roger Stone weeknights at 8 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?